Okay, so here we have this completed rotor hub assembly, the main rotor assembly for this HH53. And we had the last step was to put in these guys here, which are the basically they're adjustment rods for the blades so that the angle is proper. As each one goes around, you can match them up. This assembly has 40 different parts in it. So it took a while to build, especially since we have this self-imposed rule that whenever we glue a piece on or paint a piece or anything like that, we don't touch that assembly, whatever it's in, for 48 hours, 24 hours. So anyway, the last step was to do the touch-up paint on these things, and then this part right here is a silver color versus these parts here, which are steel, different color. So we had to paint that. So we have the gray, the steel, the silver, 3 different colors, 40 different parts glued on here. And this assembly is finally done, and it's going to go like this. And then we have the rotor blades that are the next part of this assembly to go on. Now, the rotor blades, let's talk about those a few minutes. Here is the rotor blades. They are very fine. They have these really fine lines here between different sections of the blade. We did not want to use a spray can to paint these because that just puts the paint out too thickly, and it would obliterate these fine lines. So we started this with airbrushing, and we airbrushed the primer on. And I'll show you the other piece. This model has these 2 identical trees. It has 4 blades in each tree. You only need 3. A total of 7. So, but I guess they just figured it was simpler to do 2 different trees because almost everything on these 2 trees is duplicated. Okay. So we went ahead and did the primer just like this, bare on the tree. We always try to paint whatever we're painting on the tree, unless it's in a whole assembly put together that's all going to be the same color. Then we'll glue it all together and then paint it as an assembly. But that's not the case with these blades. So we primed it, both sides, on the tree. It didn't matter if we get overspray on other parts on the tree because everything's going to be primed on this tree. But since we are going to paint the blades flat black, and there's hardly anything else on this tree painted flat black, what we are doing here is masking off all the bits of parts on the tree that aren't flat black. Everything but the blades, the tail rotor blades and the main rotor blades. Okay, there's the tail rotor blades there. There's only 4 of them. Main rotor blades, there's a total of 7, so we'll have 1 left over that we won't need. So the whole idea behind the airbrushing is to leave these lines, these fine lines here, so that they will be visible in the final product. And we left it all on the tree because it's just so much simpler to paint things on the tree than separately. So it's just a matter of cutting a little newspaper and masking off the parts of the tree that we don't want to paint flat black. So that'll be the next step, painting the blades flat black. And then there is a little bit of the blade, if you can see that front edge of the blade will be a steel color. And what that is a special edge they put on the blades so that when they're landing in a sandy area and the sand's blowing everywhere, it doesn't chew the blade up. It hits the steel edge and it doesn't affect the blade's integrity. And the tail rotor blades have the same edge on them that's steel. So that'll be a silver color. We'll have to do that by hand. That'll be a very delicate painting procedure. So that's the next step in this assembly. And we're already starting a little bit on the fuselage. And there's one area of the fuselages that will be flat black. And that is this area here, right in front of the doors, because there's an interior panel that goes on the rest of this that will cover all the rest of this up. So just this one part will be flat black. There will be other parts of the interior that will also be painted flat black. But we'll take care of this with the airbrush. Same reasoning. There's a lot of fine stuff here that we don't want obliterated by using a spray can, which just puts out paint a little too thickly. So there we are, and that's the next steps. This is really quite an intense, detailed model, but it'll all be worth it in the end. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.